Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. We've got a HILUX up on the hoist and we wanted to just, we're going to do a bit of R&T. We're going to get this shaft out. We've got an old spare shaft there. We're going to swap the genuine boot over and leave this one in a bit longer because, you know, it still looks pretty good, especially on the inner. Hasn't done the off-road sort of stuff. But of course there's got to be a drama. Well, I don't know who's serviced and worked on this vehicle. All I know is the last service sticker said something along the lines of on track 4x4. 4x4 specialists. Anyway, it doesn't mean they've done any of this work, but have a look at this. Someone's absolutely hammered the nuts out of this. It was so tight, so it may have damaged the bearing. Whoever took the cap off obviously didn't do it right, and must be some damage on the cap somewhat, because you can see the surface rust in there. So we've got a few problems here. We've got the surface rust inside, which shouldn't be there. We've got, it was so tight, the 500 Newton meter gun struggled. It couldn't get it undone. We had to spray it, let it soak, and then really work it to get it to come undone. So way over tightened on the bearing. We'll probably leave the bearing for now and just see if that does have any effect. But looking at the end of that shaft, I went, oh, I know what's going to happen here. So we eventually finally got it undone, and as it came out towards the end, it got tight again. Because when you smash, this is not, you just shouldn't need to do this, right? This is people that don't know what they're doing. This is butchers. This is vehicle butchers. This is what we always talk about and tell you. Careful where you go. Careful who you trust. Watch the videos. There's a whole heap there. There's hundreds of videos. There's going to be more. Just one piece of the million piece, or more than a million piece jigsaw puzzle. I'll work towards a million, okay? So a video a day forever. You've got some catching up to do. Look at this butcher. So what are we going to do now? I don't want any of this garbage in my vehicle. So straight away, I don't keep drive shafts on the shelf. I'm going to order a brand new genuine drive shaft. Right, that's that piece there, you know, all the way from what you just saw hammered all the way up to the up to that in there. We may as well just put a seal in that end of the diff there. It's all covered in rubbish and mess. I don't know if that's from people dropping, I'd say from oil filter changes, and they've dropped a lot of oil, because you can see it's up there on that bracket. You probably can't see too well, but you know, it's just messy. It's them dropping oil down there. There's no other reason it would be like that. You can see the rest of the engine, like always, bone dry. Everything else is, it's just the diff. Look at it. It's just, the whole thing's had oil over it, and then all the dirt and dust sticks to it. You know, you can see the sumps all dry. Anyway, that's another story. Just wanted to quickly show you more butcherism. I don't know if there's going to be more butcherism on this vehicle. What else? The diff plugs were really tight. So the filler and drain plugs, very tight. So, oh, and when I did the oil change, I noticed the sump plug was really tight. And when you remove the sump plug, and when you crack it loose, it should just come out by hand then. When it gets tight, loose on the way out, that's the threads damaged from people over tightening it. So butchers, as always, have been on this vehicle damaging it over the years. So now we've got to slowly rectify everything. Good vehicle, but of course, as soon as it goes somewhere, it's no longer Toyota quality. It's Toyota quality butchered by people. Have a look at it. How much absolutely hammering have you done to sort of peen it off like that? That is absolutely look, there's a reason why there's a hole in the middle there, right? You can use a punch and get it in there. That way it won't mushroom, because what it's doing, it's mushroomed out the outside. Now we'll get it off. There's no issue there. We've got the gun will rip that off, but there's a good chance that it could damage the nut or the thread, or it might not go back on, or it might be hard. I can't be bothered with any of that, you know, the poor man pays twice thing. That was what was going to happen with me going, oh, we'll just put a boot on there because we've got a spare boot there. We're going to save quite a few $100s, you know, because it hasn't really done the Ks yet, you know. But you know what? It's getting a new shaft, and I'm not going to put two in because you can see there's nothing wrong with this one. There's not even grease weeping out of them yet. You know, I'm into value for money. Let's not waste. So we'll change the near side drive shaft. Anyway, guys, there's a short video, unless I find something else on the vehicle to show you in this video. Absolute butchers, this could be called. So while we're waiting for that shaft, because there's only one in Australia, we're going to get it tomorrow, we thought we'd do a couple other little jobs. Oh yeah, look at this. We thought we're going to throw a set of squirters in it because they haven't been changed in 8 years. We're going to take our own advice, is the right way to do things. So that's about to happen. And we thought we'd do the manifold and demonstrate to you and show you how bad they are or they are not. Now, let me just explain to you. When you look at the manifold, you're going to go shock horror and you're going to want to clean it. But when you actually see the build-up that isn't there in most cases once you get in deeper. Now, not always. Some people's get caked up and they need cleaning, absolutely. Now, if you're doing it yourself and it's only your own time, you may as well do it, absolutely, right? My time, well, I get paid for it. So anytime I spend on our HILUX or our vehicles, it costs me just the same because I'm not working on another vehicle or any other aspects of the business. So it costs me just the same. I haven't got spare time. There's no free time, and I don't do it for fun. I've got better things to do, believe it or not. So we're going to get in a bit closer first and have a look at, well, let's go and have a look at the manifold out in the daylight, and let's see how much you're horrified by that. Alrighty tidy. I'm not allowed to say, you know what I mean, anymore, or do you know what I mean? So we're going to try and cancel that one out. Thank you very much. It's all good, right? I'm sure we've all got some sayings that get annoying, and it's the people you hang around, you pick these things up off. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, see, I did that on purpose. Anyway, let's have a look at this manifold, right? So looking in the top, we went, oh my God, look at that. It's like totally blocked, dude. Right, let's spin it around like we're looking at it on a vehicle. Right, so we're sort of like, we've got the E-jar and we're looking down. Look, don't get me wrong, we've pushed a rag in there to block so we didn't get dirty from that while working on the vehicle to get the manifold off. Let's take a look in there, right? Now I always say, if you look down to number 4 port, and it's hard for you to see, right, down there, and it's still a rectangle and you can see through it, the engine's breathing fine. So as bad as it looks, down there the engine's breathing fine. But obviously this was right on the bends. I've explained in other videos, right on the bends is where all the soot hits and it builds up and it cakes up. So the worst of it is often anywhere from the E-jar valve down to the elbow. Quite often these days what we see down to right about here. That's where the worst of it is, funnily enough. There's that big lump. You scrape that out of the way, you scrape down there a bit, you scrape over here a bit, and you pull it out. There's no big lumps, that's just the shape of the manifold. I'm not going to go and touch that because look, see, clean at the moment, see, the gloves are off. Anyway, that's the shape of the manifold. If you look down there, there is some crap there, but that's the sort of thing that you want to scrape out. And even though that looks bad, right, see that there? I'm going to show you some bloody good angles on this dirty, filthy manifold, right? It looks like a volcano in there, doesn't it? So you just want to clean it. I get it, right? So even though that's there, a lot of that we can get out. And even though it's there, it's still got this massive big opening in there, and the engine can still breathe. Now I'm going to spin it back around. We're really going to talk about, this video goes on, this is a multi-topic video, so I might start off, but you know, we might call it our HILUX or something and have another series, part 1, part 2, part 3, because this video is already going to get a bit long. So we'll try and get on to the point of whether our HILUX and, what's it going to be called? Our HILUX, should you clean the manifold? So you're looking at it going, look at that, it's putrid. But what I want to point out is, as I always say, number 4 end is usually the worst. Now let's just take a look. Let's go to this end. Now look, that one there looks pretty bad, but yeah, okay, a bit random that one. See this? See how open that is? Can you see? It's not blocked. It doesn't look good. It's a volcano surface, but it doesn't look. There's no airflow issue. I mean, it's going to flow better if it's Mickey Mouse clean. Yes, it is. But I've got to tell you, we've worked on these long enough. We've done a number of these. We know how much benefit you get from doing this. Right now, come up to number 4. You can see there's a bit of goopy goop. This is what I'm talking about. If you can still see a rectangle, this was mainly rectangle. This was probably a little bit worse than the average bear, if you know what I mean. So I said, you know what? Let's make an example of it. Let's show people reality. This is about average or worse than average. Quite often they're cleaner than this. That's if you don't hit, if we're doing your injector replacement job, E-jar clean and all that, and it's better than this, or we see that it's all limited to up there and we can clean it all out. And by the way, in our workshop, see, we don't have shiny tools hanging in the background. We have dirty old used tools, you know what I mean? I just noticed some places you watch people speaking, it's about them and it's about their fancy workshops. We're not here to show you the fancy tools or anything. You'll only see used tools and dirty things here in the background, even though the hospital comes up clean. But the point is, right, is it worth cleaning on? Now, let's put it to you this way. It's a big job, extra work to get this off. It's a bit painful. There's extra gaskets, there's coolant, there's lots of cleaning, whether it gets sent away and costs you the hundreds of dollars or whether we clean it, whatever. And then there's getting it back together. I'm telling you, it depends. We don't put a set price on it because it depends how long it takes to clean, how bad it is. It's optional for you whether you want to clean it or not, or you can trust our judgment, okay? We're happy to clean it for you, but it costs anything extra from $600 to $1,000 extra to clean up this mess with the extras. We don't just take off a couple of hoses, let a bit leak out and add water. We drop the coolant, we get a full thing going on. You know, you get new coolant, right? So you might want to think about other related work while you're at it, like the BFE job. So that's what we're going to do on this vehicle. Anyway, in this case, I wanted to get it off. We could have cleaned most of that out of there, what we could see. And what happens is, once you put that EGR plate in, it reduces the bad stuff. That's the exhaust gas recirculation, the soot. Once you put new squirters in, it runs cleaner. You don't see as much soot. You don't see the smoke. Remember, if you got it running clean, this stuff is in there because of extra carbon, extra soot from unburnt fuel, right? That's been caused from, because the injectors have never been changed, right? Anyway, we're not going on that about too much about that. Did I say, do you know what I mean again? Do you know what I mean? Sorry, but I want to know, do you know what I mean? We're sort of joking with it a bit, but we're not, right? We're going to try and cut that out. But look, I hope you can see what I mean. It's a choice. It doesn't feel right taking, say, $900 of your money to clean this up. I can send you photos and it'll look beautiful. But when you drive the vehicle, whether we did it or not, if it makes no difference in performance or fuel economy or whatever, then there was no point doing it, was there? Okay, so we like to have a balanced approach. Right, balanced approach, like I wish some people would with other things in life, but that's another topic. Balanced approach to the jobs we do. Of course, ripping the manifold off and clean it, making it spotless would be great, and we're happy to do it. If you've got money to spend, just say, hey, and I definitely want to get the manifold done because I want it shiny clean. Let's go to the vehicle now and have a look at the ports before we call it a video. I'm going to attempt to get in there with only the light on the, because where does it end? There's cleaning the manifold. That's what I'm saying, Vera. How far do we go cleaning here, right? We've got ports to clean as well, so we take this time we did something different. Normally you just take that right out of the way. We left that rear nut on and just lifted this out of the way temporarily. It's sitting in place, but at the moment we could lift that off, lift the foam off out of the way to clean the ports, and that's what we'll do. I just wanted to show you in this video where the plate goes and what it does. It reduces the size of the hole, just showing you where it goes, okay? See the ports? Some people spend a day in there polishing and cleaning and vacuuming all that mess out, right? Now, to be quite honest, I'm not going to do that, right? You can have a look in there, you can have a look at the build-up. We'll be there for ages. But see what I said about the size of the hole is still there. Yeah, it's black, right? And usually, like I said, worse at the back. And the surface there looks pretty bad as well. That one does look particularly average. And when people talk about, just quickly we'll talk about this, people talk about cracked pistons and stuff like that, right? If you've got a blocked port at number 3 or 4, which isn't always the pistons that go, some people go, why is it always it's not always number 4. Quite often it's number 3, 2 or 1, okay? And it probably goes in about that order. But if you've got mixtures all wrong because you've got the same amount of fuel getting injected to the cylinder up here from this thing, but different amounts of airflow into the cylinders because this one's really open and breathing well and these ones are blocked up, that can be an issue for you, blowing smoke, making noises, or cracking pistons, right? So there's a whole lot of contributors that need to be taken into account. It's certainly not the engine's fault. I've said it before. It's not weak pistons. If the pistons were weak, they wouldn't last bloody 15 years, ever, right? Where most of the cases they do last forever. It's always wrong combustion as documented by Toyota, okay? Anyway, that's about it. It's your choice whether you want to clean the manifold, clean the ports, and how far you want to go. You can say, look, let's do it, but let's make it a quick job for 700 extra, or I really want you to spend some time and get in those ports and polish the back of the valves and everything, and we'll make it 1700 extra, right? It's all time, guys. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. There's no set thing. Like I said, balanced approach. Anyway, this is something to do with our HILUX Part 1, and we'll get a series happening. We're going to go nuts. We're doing the manifold, we're doing injectors, we're going to do everything. We're going to work our way around the front here, timing belt, all the stuff we recommend. Of course, that's what we're going to do. It's a no-brainer, mate. We need to freshen this thing up. Like I said, it looks like the old water pump. Anyway, there'll be more videos. I'm not sure exactly how the topics will run, but it's all about sharing information, helping you understand the vehicle, what needs to be done, and some options that you've got about what needs to be done. When we supply the injector kit, that's what the caps are for, right? The red caps to cap the common rail. We need them back so we can send them to other people, please. Please return them with the crow's foot and the dowel. That was allended, unless you specifically said, I want to pay an extra $55 and keep the crow's foot, dowel and red caps, and we can do that, and then we'll just pay money to replace all this stuff. But at the moment, it's not included in the price of the injector kit. You can see the longer SCV is already there on the later model vehicles. This is a 2013. Anyway guys, that's the video. Please hit the like button, subscribe, turn the bell on, sit tight for the next video. See ya.